Hi, everyone. Okay, so I am independent consultant and executive regional vice president Jenna Bolton, and I am coming on here today to do a little training for you guys on how to grow and create a 100-person list. So when you first start in your business, one of the first things you're going to do is create that 100-person list. And I know what some of you are thinking, oh my gosh, and I remember I was thinking this too when I started. I don't even know 100 people. Like, how am I going to do this? It seems like it's a little overwhelming. And what I'm just going to try to help you with today is to just break it down and to jog your memory about the people that you do know that would actually be really good for this business, and just people that you run into every day, and all the different reach out methods, and thinking of the type of people that you want to have join your business as well. So it can be overwhelming, but I'm here to try to break those barriers and those ego things we tell ourselves about how we can't figure out who to ask and things like that. That's what I'm going to help you guys realize today. Okay, so also I just want to mention the disclaimer in case I say anything about the financial piece. So to see the average income earnings, please go to earnings.arbonne.com. So again, this is just to jog your memory about people that you may know that you haven't asked. And also it's really good. It's a good thing to kind of point out for you guys is that this 100-person name list isn't something that you're just going to one and done. You just don't create it and then say, okay, I've created my 100-person list. I'm that's it. What happens is you're going to actually ask the people from that 100-person list, and then you're going to strike names off, but then you want to continuously be adding more names to that list, because this business can feel difficult. It's not difficult, but it can feel difficult if you aren't adding more names to that list, because then you're at a point where you don't have anyone to ask. And then you're kind of sputtering in your tracks. You just don't know how to get ahead because you have no names. And you have no one to reach out to because you haven't been maintaining that 100-person list. So that's a really good point. And I have some notes here, so I'm going to be referring to them. Anybody can do Arbonne. I don't know all this stuff off the top of my head. Okay, so what I want you guys to have is a paper and pen, because as I'm going through some of this, it might trigger you. I want you to be taking notes. And then after I do this training, I want you to actually be able to put together your 100-person list from this. So a really good book to read too, if you haven't read this book, is Get Over Your Damn Self. It has some really good pointers in there about how to get over your damn self, and just, get out of your comfort zone and get out of that fear zone of I can't ask that person because they're too successful, or I can't ask that person because why would they ever want to do Arbonne? You just never know. So we cannot make assumptions about other people, because we have no idea if that really successful person is truly happy with what they're doing. Maybe their job is so demanding, it's taking time away from their family, or maybe they don't like their commute. So don't prejudge people ever. That's one of my biggest tips, is don't prejudge. There's a girl in Arbonne, and she's an ENVP, and her dad is actually an ERVP. So have you ever thought about asking your own dad to do this business? That's the kind of thing we want to get you guys thinking outside the box. So really what you want to be thinking about when you're when you're thinking about who you might know that in this 100-person list and beyond is are these people, think about people that are happy, think about people that are inspiring. Think about people that are positive and upbeat. Those are the type of people that you want to be asking, because those are the type of people that we want in this business. Okay, so I'm just reading this. So we have there's so many people on this planet and in this world, and different personalities. And so these are the type of people that you can ask. So there's men, there's women, there's all different age groups, you guys. So just because we talk about millennials a lot doesn't mean that only millennials can do this business. There are 60-year-olds that are ENVPs, okay? There are 40-year-olds, there are 20-year-olds, all walks of life can do Arbonne. So who do you know that's think about these kind of people. So who do you know that's a single mom that could use this business? Who do you know that's a nurse, a doctor, a lawyer, a chiropractor, a massage therapist? Do you go and get treated by any of these people on a weekly basis? Maybe you have a therapist that you talk to. Have you ever thought about asking those people to take a listen to Arbonne? Do you go to the park? Do you strike up conversations with people in the grocery store? Do you see someone every single day, in your right now we're not really going anywhere, but like typically, do you see someone every single day that you just haven't asked because you just have like that scarcity mindset and you're fearful of what they might think? Do you know that, like, couples, who do you know that's like a married couple, or maybe they're not even married, just like a boyfriend or girlfriend, that would be like such an amazing like power couple for Arbonne? Like, who do you know that could do that? Do you go to a gym? Do you have like a yoga instructor? Do you talk to someone at the front desk at the place where you work out? Do you have a trainer? There's tons of men in Arbonne too, so like don't discount the men. Like, there are personal trainers, there are like maybe your barber. Like, there's so many people in the run of a day. So I just want to like jog your memory on all those kinds of people. So you have aunts, you have uncles, you have cousins, you have friends of friends, you have maybe your sister is married to someone and that whole part of their family, you can like ask certain people. Who else? Okay, so students. Do you know someone that's going through to like school, right? Like, so most people that like are going to school have like a part-time job somewhere that they're working at, like to help pay for their school, yeah, et cetera, et cetera. So who do you know that's going to school that may need like a little extra income on the side that could use this business? What was I going to say? Okay. So there's also like social workers, bankers, like a bank teller, flight attendants. So like if you're right now, we're not traveling anywhere, but like usually we get to travel. And like, so like you're sitting beside someone on the airplane, ask them. The flight attendant, like for sure, like all these people you can ask. So who else did I say here? Okay, so also like if you move, so I just moved into a new neighborhood. So can you ask people in your neighborhood, can you drop off little samples, go door to door and have like an open house, right? So there's so many different options of who we can ask. And it's like a continuous cycle of like thinking of these people and writing them down. And then not only just writing those people down, but then taking it one step further and asking like, okay, but then that person knows this person. And if I ask them for a referral, I could get into their network. And like, that's how this grows. It's kind of like a tree. You start it with like 100 people and then you just build and build and build from that. So it's really, really important and crucial that you do this. We are in the network marketing industry. And so guys, what that means is we're network marketers. So we're continuously having to meet new people, over and over and over again to grow our business. So I'm going to just mention like a huge platform that we all are on and using, and it's very, very prevalent right now because of just the state of our world, is Instagram. Okay, some of you are on Facebook too, but I'm going to just like solely talk about Instagram because that's where most of my time I'm on Instagram. So you can build so many relationships on Instagram, and it's huge because honestly, like I can say this right now, like 80% of my team I did not know before Arbonne. So that's incredible right there, right? So like if you're sitting here going, well, honestly, I don't know that many people. And like, I just don't think my business is going to grow because I just don't know that many people. Well, guess what? 80% of the people on my team, I literally met in parking lots, on Instagram, strangers, in grocery stores, at coffee shops, like at the park. So many people, I'm telling you, it's crazy. So on Instagram, you're going to be wanting to add, like follow and build relationships with different accounts every single day. So that's part of like your daily do. And some of you might be like, really? Like, yes, it's absolutely crucial to growing your business. So what I usually do is on Instagram, I'm always doing this because, and I'll tell you why. So if I come across someone's profile, there's like a little flag marker at the bottom of like their profile. Like if you're scrolling through Instagram, you can save their picture to your phone. And I just like created a folder in my phone under Instagram of like people to ask about Arbonne. And then what happens is if you don't have time, like in that moment to ask them, you've saved them to your folder. And let's just say a week goes by and you're like sitting at the dentist office or something and you have like 10 minutes to shoot off a couple messages. You can go into your file and you can literally just go to the people you've saved in there and start like building relationships. If you've already started building a relationship with that person, then maybe it's time for you to like actually ask them to take a listen or a look at Arbonne. So I do that. And I think that it's so, one, it's like, it's using your time effectively. And second, it just creates a ton of like people in your funnel, right? So you're continuously adding to that funnel. Okay, so I did that. Okay, so there's more people. I wrote out more people that you can ask. So you go to Starbucks, right? You take someone for coffee. Maybe do a little bit of work after you have a one-on-one with someone, and then strike up a conversation. Your car salesman, if you buy a car somewhere, ask them, give them some samples of fizz, like build the relationships. The mall, we run into people when we could go to the mall all the time, right? You're like they're in customer service as well. So you could say something like, oh my gosh, you know what, you just provided like such good customer service. I just feel compelled to ask you this. And then you can say like, I have a business with Arbonne. I'm not sure if you've ever heard of it. It may or may not be a fit for you, but I just feel like you would be really, really good at it based on our interaction today. So easy, right? And honestly, guys, if people say like, oh no, like I don't think it's for me. That right there is like, okay, let me just crack that door open a little bit, ask a few more questions and like get them into my funnel. So you could say like, honestly, like I thought the same thing. But would you just be willing to like give me like 15 minutes of your time and I could just share what it is that I do? And then the key is always when you're building relationships and asking questions and you're in that moment, it's always about getting them on social media. So like just saying like, oh my gosh, like, do you have Instagram? I could add you. And then once you add them to your Instagram, then you have them as a contact and you can reach out to them when they add you and be like, oh my God, it was so good meeting you today. Like would love to chat further about Arbonne, like if you're open. Right. So like, it's not like you're trying to catch anyone or get anyone. Like that's not the point of this. Okay. I don't want anyone to think that you're trying to like go out and be like, I'm on the hunt to get people. That is 100% not what we're about. We are about serving, loving, and growing. And in serving other people, we're genuine, we come across as authentic, and we're really not, it's not about us anymore. It's about like, how can we help other people realize that this business can be something for them that creates like a completely different life for some people, right? Okay, so what about like your lash tech? So some people get their lashes done. What about your nail tech? And please don't look at my nails right now. Like this is like lockdown. This is what it does. First world problems, I guess, right? But like, yeah, your nail tech, your hairdresser, all of these people are seeing different people all the time, every single day. So they would be excellent for this business. Okay. So ways to reach out. So this like, so now we've kind of jogged your memory about people that you can like reach out to. But like, how do you reach out to people? Like, so you're like, okay, well that's great. But okay. So sometimes you guys, you just kind of have to like feel people out. Sometimes you can just straight out like the gate, ask someone if you feel super compelled to ask them. Like without building the relationship, you might just be like, I need to ask this girl. I have like a tug at my heart and I need to just ask her. That is okay. Okay. But if you feel like you're like, oh, like I think I need to like build the relationship with this person a little bit, then that is also 100% okay. And so, like I said, some things that you would say, maybe if you were reaching out to someone is maybe you started following someone on Instagram. I usually try to pick like one thing that I have in common with that person that like we can talk about. So maybe you're a single mom like I am, and you like come across someone else that's a single mom. You can like start the conversation by being like, oh my gosh, like I just love other women like being super empowering and inspiring. And like, honestly, like I have so much mad love for you because you're also a single mom. You could say something um, like, you know, do you find it difficult? Have you found it difficult to like date and like blend a family? Like, I know that's a little bit personal, but like just find something that you can like relate to someone on and then build that relationship from there. So that's one way you can do it. And also, you guys, I just want to remind everyone that it's so important to lead with the business and then you can fall back on the products if you have to. But we always want to be like explaining to people that like you would love to share more about what you do with Arbonne, because what will happen is if you lead with the products and people are like, oh no, like I already use a really good product, I am like so good, like no thank you, then you're not going to be able to turn around and be like, would you be open to hearing more about the business? They're going to be like, no, I just told you no. So lead with the business. And then if people are like, you know what, I just don't know if it's a fit for me right now, or like, I'm just not really sure, I need to learn more, or yada, yada, yada. You can, or maybe they say, you know what, I actually like, I'm really like financially well off or whatever, and I don't really need like an extra income. then you can say, well, you know what? We actually have a fantastic product. And we have over 450 like pure, safe, beneficial like the mind, body, skin connection. And you can go into like the ingredient policy briefly, and you can say, would you be interested in trying some products? And then if they're like, oh, usually people don't like to say no back to back. So if they say no to the business, maybe they'll say I actually heard about the fizz sticks and I've heard the protein's really good. So then you build the relationship based on the like product side if the business side isn't like going to be a fit. And then the other thing too, guys, is like, try not to make it like you're getting them on like a Zoom call for 45 minutes and we're going to go on and on and on about like, we're 40 years old and Peter Mork said, and da, 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 da. We want to like, of course, all that information is important. But it's not necessarily crucial to tell people the entire story. Like things are evolving and changing rapidly in our world and like the way we're doing things. So we're constantly having to pivot. So it's really important to just like highlight, and a really good document is, Brittany's doing the call on the 30 and 30 calls, but I'm just going to touch on it really quickly. The document that we use for the 30 and 30 calls is the Is Arbonne For You document. And it's this Is Arbonne For You document is in your region unit, your region Facebook group page, and it's in one of the units. So like if you need help finding that, just like ask your upline. But it's super simple. It's like the 4 quadrants of it, like Arbonne, and it touches on each of them briefly, but it doesn't go into like detail where we're going to lose our like 3-way chat. So in the 30 and 30 calls, we do 3-way chats on FaceTime, or we can do like a Zoom chat with people, and get them like, so you basically ask someone and then you get your upline, and sometimes you bring in like, yeah, so it's like your upline, you, and the person you're asking, your prospect. So there's 3 people on the call. And honestly, you guys, for newer consultants, if you're new and you're worried about sponsoring people because you have no idea what you're doing yet, please do not worry about that kind of stuff, because you have your upline to rely on. So if I sponsor someone new and they go DM, their job is to like honestly start building a team right away. And that is going to include me, of course, because that new DM, let's say they're 1 month into their business, they're not going to know how to explain this business like lickety split, like, right? It takes some time to learn that stuff. So that's totally okay. Do not let like your like self-talk talk you out of like growing a team because you don't know how to like explain the business yet. You lean on your upline. 100%. So yeah, so quick FaceTime, like a 3-way chat, like we're just going to like briefly tell you a little bit about Arbonne, and then you can make an educated decision if this is a fit for you. Okay. So we're not reeling them into some crazy, like forever and a day talk. It's just like, we're just explaining the business in that like 4 quadrant kind of, perspective. Okay. And then if they're like, you know what, like, I don't know if I want to do like a 3-way chat, I don't think I really want to get on Zoom, you can fall back to just adding them, like I said, to Instagram. If you already have them on Instagram, then okay, that's fine. But like the point is that you want to add them to like your VIP group. Be like, you know what? I have a VIP group. I run specials. I run like incentives. Would you mind if I popped you into that? And then like add them somewhere where they're going to see you and Arbonne connected at another, like in a different capacity. So like, okay, there she is on Instagram. Now I'm in her VIP group, like, and then their wheels start turning and they start to watch you, which is why it's also super important to withhold a social media platform. So when you're like on social media and then you're like MIA for 2 weeks, that's not going to help your business. You have to stay consistent. We stay consistent with everything that we do, and it's super important. Okay. Here's a little bit of verbiage you could say. So you could say like, you could reach out to someone on Instagram, or even if you're in the grocery store, you could say like, oh my gosh, you know what? I have a favor to ask you. I know this is a little random, but you can say, honestly, like I'm just started, you could say, I just started my business with Arbonne and I'm looking to get into some in front of some new faces to just share and like kind of practice, my own kind of like sharing the Arbonne story. And I was just wondering if you would like give me 15 minutes of your time that I could share this with you. I could pop in a couple samples in the mail for you as a thank you. Oh, like most people will be like, oh yeah, like no problem at all. Like, I don't mind being that person for you. Perfect. Keep it like, I always like to say, would you be open to hearing? I always like to say like no obligation, no pressure at all. I am just trying to educate people on what it is that I do. And there's no gimmicks. There's no, just be like truly yourself without like making it sound like there's a catch. Like, well, but like you have to listen and then, right? Like there's no obligation, no pressure. So I always make sure that I mention that. Okay. Yeah, and if they're local, you could even mention like, I'll drop some samples at your door if you would do this favor for me. So people actually are willing to help you out. Some people don't think that. People are like, oh, like I don't want to ask them for a favor because like, why would they want to help me? Most people do want to like help people out. Like we have to see like the benefit, like give people the benefit of the doubt, right? Like most people want to see people succeed. Most people want to like, oh, sure, like it's a favor, I can do that. And you want like these conversations when you're reaching out to people to be purposeful. So you don't just want to be like you don't want to just be reaching out just to like try to catch people and like get them into Arbonne, because people are too smart for that, right? Like people will like, they'll like feel your vibe and like something will be off if that's like how you're trying to lead the conversation. So just be really authentic, lead from love. I always say lead from love. And at the end of the day, if it's not for someone, I don't necessarily like write them off my list. I just put like an asterisk and I'll put like, I asked on such and such date. And then what I do is I'll just have to say like to myself, okay, so that reach out method didn't really work that well. So maybe we can switch it up the next time we go to ask them. So, and I get this all the time, like, oh, well, how many like months, weeks, days in between do you go between asking people? You can actually touch on like, sometimes it takes a prospect like 14 interactions with you in Arbonne for them to finally be like, you know what, I think this is for me. I think I want to do this. So just like make sure that you're giving it enough time. It's not a one and done. Like I said before, you don't ask someone and be like, yes, I asked them, it's done. Like I never have to ask them again. You want some people like really wish it was like that because then it like takes the pressure off, but like that's not the case, you guys. You have to keep following up with people. That we always say the fortune's in the follow-up. But you can ask like, so rule of thumb, if you ask someone, and if they say like, oh, not right now, like life's too hectic and busy, what I sometimes do is say like, would you mind if I reached out to you in like a month or so to just check in to see if anything's changed? And then most people are like, no, not at all. So then just like, this is why you have to track these things too. So like, I don't care how you track it, just track it. And then you can ask them again in like a month. Or if it's like, they just seem really busy in that moment, you could maybe like give it a week and ask them again. And sometimes I also just say like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be a bother at all. Like, and if I'm bothering you, please just let me know, because there's nothing worse than like us asking people over and over and over again when that other person just wants to say like, buzz off. But I always like to say to people, just like, let me know. Like if this is like, just you don't want to hear from me again, just let me know, because I don't want to keep bothering you. And then people are like, oh my gosh, you're not bothering me at all. So like, just phrase it that way. Okay. Yeah. So if it's a no, it's not a no forever. It's just not a no. It's not right now. This business might not be for them right now. So, I always like, so sometimes when new consultants will send me like a screenshot and be like, oh my gosh, Jenna, like, how do I respond to this? And if it says like, oh my gosh, you know what? Like, just life is super busy right now, but like, it does sound interesting, but just like right now, it's just not, I can't take anything on. I'm always like, oh my God, that's like such a great response. Like, that's so exciting for you. And most new consultants are like, but they said no. I'm like, oh no, like that's like, it's just not right now. So you jot their names down. You keep building the relationship. So like liking their things on Facebook or Instagram and like commenting, building the relationship. And then like in a couple months, God forbid something could change in their life. And then all of a sudden they're like, I actually need Arbonne. Boom, right there, right? Okay, so I think that's pretty much it, you guys. So I hope this was of value. Like I said, I hope you jotted down some notes and you can like start creating that 100-person list for yourself, and it's revolving, right? So we don't want to just one and done. We're always adding to it. So anyways, I hope you guys have an awesome day and we'll talk to you soon.